My name is Jake Hoyseth, and it is my privilege to serve as your worship associate today. We welcome whoever you are and wherever you are on your journey. As a home of liberal spirituality, we are grateful for the religious pluralism that expands our vision and deepens our understanding. Our principles remind us to honor reason and differences, and to value and foster social justice, social action, and compassion. Welcome to Tapestry, a Unitarian Universalist congregation. Our minister, the Reverend Kent Doss, is not in the pulpit today, kind of. He will return next week. Today, we have the privilege of welcoming Sophia Uehara and Grayson Gothard as our guest speakers, who will be speaking on compassion. If you are a Facebook user, be sure to check in and tell your friends what a wonderful congregation we are. And now, would you please take a moment to turn off those same mobile phones or other devices that may be disruptive to our worship time together. We are a welcoming congregation, and we extend a warm greeting to any newcomers. We invite those of you who are visiting for the first or second time, if you are comfortable doing so, to please stand and introduce yourselves so we will have the opportunity and privilege to get to know you. Yes?
I thought they were going to stand.
That's life. There we go. Woo! Your names? Yeah.
Jamie Enright, Lindsay Dreyer, Jill Navarro.
Welcome. Do we have any other newcomers today? No. Okay. Well, thank you. We hope you enjoy your time here today with our guest speakers. If you are new, we invite you to stop by the greeters table to pick up an informational packet. We invite everyone to please join us after the service for conversation and refreshments served out on the patio. If you have been coming for a while and feel you have found a spiritual home, please talk to the minister, a member of the membership committee, or someone at the greeters table about becoming one. We heartily welcome everyone. So now, please extend a greeting to those old and new friends that are sitting near you. It's always great to see everyone connecting with each other. You can continue your conversations over refreshments after the service. We have some exciting events coming up at Tapestry. In fact, one today. Tapestry's annual meeting will be held promptly after the service today, so we welcome everyone to grab a cup of coffee and listen in. We will be electing new board members and balancing the budget for the upcoming year. You can find information about this and other upcoming events in your order of service or on the website. Our various groups and events reflect our vision of being a transformational home for liberal spirituality and a dynamic community leader in Orange County and beyond. Now I will invite Emma, Twaman, and Lenny up here to speak.
Haley Smith and Leah King will light our chalice, this central symbol of our Unitarian Universalist heritage. We come together every week, bound not by a creed or a mutual desire to please one God or many gods, yet we are drawn together by a belief that how we are in the world, who we are together, matters. We light this chalice together in the knowledge that love, not fear, can change this world. Would you please join me in reading our covenant together, followed by the song of affirmation? Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another.
Let there be joy in our coming together this morning. Let there be truth heard in the words we speak and the songs we sing. Let there be help and healing for our disharmony and despair. Let there be silence for the voice within us and beyond us. Let us join together in worship. Would you please rise in body or spirit and join our choir in singing the opening hymn, number 38, Morning Has Broken. You can find the music in your gray hymnal or follow along with the projected words.
Sorry, we have several pieces of news this morning. As we gather in worship, we pause to reflect not just on the words in our hymnals or our sermons, but on our own lives and the lives of those that we love. Sometimes we do that by lighting a candle in silent recognition of joys and sorrows, and sometimes we want to share them aloud. So I have a few notes to share here with you. Elisa Amatuzzi shares that a cousin had a bad wall climbing accident and is in an induced coma, and his wife gave birth to their first child. A bittersweet weekend for sure. The Gothards tell us that we're hoping Grayson's soccer coach, Tony Walker, is able to find a kidney donor. The two potential donors that have not been a fit so far, so he's back on a waiting list. Judy Tracy shares with us that her granddaughter, Megan, was engaged to be married. It was a super dramatic and really well done engagement. She'll tell you the story. And Grandpa and Grandma Klopfleisch, thank you, are celebrating Grayson Gothard and his high school graduation and his plan to attend Reed College in the fall. So, for these joys and sorrows we've heard today, and for the many silent joys and sorrows that flood our hearts, may we reach out in prayer with a handshake or hug or whatever seems right. I'd also invite you to join me in reading our congregational response. For your joys, we join you in celebration. For your sorrows and concerns, may you feel our compassion. For all that is spoken and unspoken, may the caring of our beloved community sustain you. And now, if our young or young at heart want to come and join us on the carpet up front, Abby Gothard has a story about compassion to share.
It is. Okay, hi everybody. So this is a book from Mother Earth to the children of the earth. So it's Dear Children of the Earth, a letter from home. And it's about compassion and caring for the earth. Okay. Dear children of the earth, I am writing this letter to ask for your help. Do you know who I am? I am the planet Earth, but I am much more than just a planet. I am your home. I am your Mother Earth, and just like you, there is only one of me, so I am very special, and I need to be loved and cared for just like you. They're really pretty pictures here. Okay. Now let me ask you something. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? You see your eyes, of course. You see your hair, your nose, and your mouth. And if you smile, you see your teeth. Do you know what I see when I look in the mirror? I see all the animals walking on my land. I see the birds flying in my sky. I see all the fishes, whales, and dolphins swimming in my oceans. And all of these animals I see are my children. But there's something else I see when I look in the mirror. I see all of you, because you, too, are my children. All of the animals that live on me are your sisters and brothers. We are all one big family. But many people still don't know that they are my children and that all of the animals are their sisters and brothers. They still don't know that we are one big family. The animals have told me, we are worried, Mother Earth. We are afraid because our homes are being destroyed by people who don't know better or who don't care. They don't know that we are their sisters and brothers. Mother Earth, these people are cutting down your forests, dumping garbage in your oceans and rivers, and filling your sky with pollution. Tell me, children, where would the animals live when my forests are all gone? Where will all the whales and dolphins swim when my oceans are too dirty to live in? And where will the birds fly when my sky is poisoned? Imagine my oceans with no whales or dolphins swimming in them, and all the seals and sea otters gone. Imagine how empty my blue sky would be with no birds singing. I would be lonely. Wouldn't you be lonely too? And so, my children, I need your help, and the animals need your help too. But Mother Earth, you ask, how can I help you and all of my sisters and brother animals when you are so big and I am so small? Well, my children, let me tell you something. I am not so big. As a matter of fact, I am quite small. When you go outside at night and look up at all the millions and millions of stars, you will see how small I really am. Compared to the night sky, I am no bigger than you. But because I look so big, people think that I don't know what they do to me. They think that I can't feel what they do to me. But I do know, and I do feel. My children, when many people do a little thing to me, it becomes a big thing. So it's very important for each person to stop doing things that hurt me or that hurt their sister and brother animals. Remember, there is only one of me, but there are billions of people. So when each person does a little something to help me, it makes a very big difference, a very good difference. Now, what do you think is the biggest, most important thing you can do to help me? What do you think I need from you more than anyone else in the world? What do you guys think?
No lettering.
Yeah. Anybody else have ideas? Okay. I will tell you. I need you to love me, that is all. Just love me as much as I love you, because when you love me, you will care for me. And when you care for me, you will protect me. And when you care for me and protect me, you will save me, your home, and the homes of your sister and brother animals. My children, tell your friends and other people what I have told you. Tell them that I am their only home and that I need them to love me and care for me. Tell them all the animals are their sister and brothers and that we are all one big family. And tell them, too, that I always know when they do little things to help me. My dear children of the earth, I will now end my letter to you. Remember, I am your home, and just like you, there is only one of me. If you love me, care for me, and protect me, I will always be your home, forever and ever. I love you with all of my heart, Mother Earth.
The reading today is number 661, found in your gray hymnals. Please turn with me now. I will read the words in regular typed print, and you will read the words in italics. Again, that's number 661, titled The Heart Knoweth. We have a great deal more kindness than is ever spoken.
The whole human family is bathed in the element of love like a fine ether.
How many persons we met in houses whom we scarcely speak to, whom yet we honor and who honor us.
How many we see in the street or sit within church, whom though silently we warmly rejoice to be with.
Read the language of these wandering eye beams.
The heart knoweth.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, all the mountains should crumble to the sea. I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me, oh, stand by me, oh, stand now, stand by me, stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me, oh, stand by me, oh, stand now, stand by me, stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me, oh, stand by me, oh, stand now, stand by me, stand by me.
The meditation this morning is in the form of a song. This is a song that is often sung by youth at the Benneville Pines. The youth thought it would be great to share with Tapestry. Since this is a meditation, please remain seated. We will sing the melody several times. As it becomes more and more familiar, settle into it as you would a meditation or prayer. Number 1023, Building Bridges.
All right, so good morning, everyone. I'm the first to speak, and Grayson is going to come after me. And so you'll have to forgive me. I burned my tongue, and now my tongue hurts. I'll be okay, though, I promise. So we're talking about compassion today. So philosophers, so sorry, guys. A little nervous. Okay, I'll be fine. Philosophers, artists, and theologians have been grappling with this question for centuries. What exactly is compassion, and how is it emulated? The word itself, compassion, conjures up this powerfully nuanced meaning of internal goodness, great selflessness, and great acts of altruism. To be honest, the sermon itself was really hard to start, because although compassion is one of the most praised virtues in the world, it's difficult to relate to when its greatest practitioners are almost untouchable, mainly religious figures like Mother Teresa or perhaps an all-loving God. One could argue that it's no longer a virtue worth attaining when few, in practical application, seem to know how to go about it themselves. And yet, after sitting here for so long attempting to dissect and analyze my own thoughts and opinions and conceptualizations of what compassion is, it begins to take on a very different form for me. According to Webster's online dictionary, thank you, Google, compassion is sympathetic pity and concern for the suffering and misfortunes of others. But from what I have experienced within my short 17 years of existence, has made me mold my own definition. What they tell us here implies that you must be suffering or worse off than the person you're receiving the compassion from. But when have the virtuous ever wanted life to be a game of comparisons? And the particular words they choose to articulate its meaning suggest a pity derived of sympathy, not of empathy or connection. Somehow, compassion has shifted to become an almost impossible virtue of being nice to everyone worse off than you, and not something grounded in action. Compassion is something very attainable, however, that we can all emulate regardless of our histories or frame of reference. Compassion doesn't just lie in individual connections between people, it can also lie within faith, like here. I have a friend who came out a couple years ago as bisexual and confided in me that it took her a very long time to accept who she was and why she had this orientation and identity. It doesn't seem like a particularly unique story, unfortunately, in this day and age. But then she also told me why it had been so difficult. She was raised in a devoutly religious Christian in a very conservative Korean household. She has very distinct memories of attending church with her parents and believing and almost feeling the eternal damnation to hell from her God because she wasn't right and she wasn't normal. She was broken and would burn because of something like the way she felt about girls. Her parents didn't help either, so she would avoid confrontation or discussion about religion at all costs. Perhaps she seemed to belong to a certain religion by others, but it was because she felt trapped into the belief system, not because she actually believed it. But as she grew older, things changed, and she found out about other faiths and belief systems and ideas of what is right and wrong. Apparently, she did dabble, as she told me, in the ideas of being a UU because of our compassion and unconditional sense of acceptance. And she told me that the sanctuary they provided for her was one of the first where she felt like she belonged, religiously, without judgment. Compassion came as a source of comfort from our faith and was enacted through people towards her. And here, let me share with you another memory, or a handful of my own. As you know, I'm standing here today because I recently graduated from high school and I'm about to move on to the next stage of my life. I attended Troy High School, a highly competitive tech IB magnet school, known for its highly driven students and even stronger academic reputation. I was recently at a meeting for students from around Orange County, preparing to study abroad, and one of the first reactions to my self-introduction was, "Oh my goodness, my school came in second place after yours. Why?" That's not a good way to make friends. Needless to say, it's been a long 4 years, and this year in particular was especially hard. College applications and academics drained me of all my energy, and this pressure seemed to mount from all directions to be greater than who I was and achieve more than I ever had. It was almost too exhausting and destructive to even consider. I had many falling outs with very good friends and experienced some inklings of severe heartbreak. There were many, many long, dark nights filled with silent tears and secret, lonely frustrations. And yet, when I think of compassion through the lens of what I experienced this year, I don't think of my family as pitying me when they took me into their embrace to help ease the pain of the tears. My best friends are not the most virtuous of people, but they certainly held an unconditional acceptance towards me as they rallied around me to spur me on. I think of these incredible people as comforting and empowering, willing me to continue on wearing down the new path of hope. When I think of compassion now, I don't think of grand gestures of love or charity. I think of the opposite, the small, quiet acts, all the other ways people show that they unconditionally love you. So, from this, compassion isn't an unattainable trait designed for use only by saints or your favorite fictional character. Compassion is a very human attribute, similar to unconditional love, connection, comfort, and action. But then how do we practice such an enigmatic and somewhat abstract virtue in our daily lives? And more importantly, for myself, at this moment in my life, how will I become a giver of compassion instead of what I have always been, a receiver? The honest and easy answer is I don't know. I really don't know. It's true, and I won't deny it. I'm 17 years old, and up to this point, I have been very lucky and privileged to be without many hardships and factors of oppression that others may have faced. But I have experienced receiving compassion in my own times of grief, anguish, stress, and sadness. And observing this, I can hopefully apply it to my own interactions around me. It's easy to brush off as something insignificant or too difficult to apply to daily life. But simultaneously, it's a very omnipresent force. Like I mentioned, even the smallest acts of compassion shape our daily agendas and appreciation for one another. Next year, I will be living and studying abroad as an international student ambassador to Indonesia on a scholarship provided by American Field Service, an international organization that itself was founded on compassion and connection. In 1914 and later 1939, a group of young American ambulance workers were sent to France to aid the war effort by caring for wounded French soldiers on the battle lines. These young men soon realized that these one-on-one relationships derived of shared compassion were major pieces of the puzzle that fostered world peace. These relationships dispelled judgment and stereotypes and created a common empathy between cultures. Following the conclusion of World War II in 1947, the first student exchanges were started. And since then, AFS has been promoting positive diplomatic relationships between countries through high school age student exchange. I've been drawn to the AFS tradition of soft diplomacy from my own background as a UU. This has told me instinctively that fear and judgment of other cultures is very ignorant. Misconceptions about other cultures may be the result of crisis, but the truth is ignorance hurts. I've gathered by this point that ignorance is the opposite of compassion's empathy. Negative perceptions magnify to become worse when people are left on with their own thoughts and without exposure to the truth. Indonesia, of 85% Islamic faith, is a very different place for a young American whose 4th birthday fell a few days after the horrible tragedy of 9/11. But it's also a very good place to go searching for answers. It is true that 9/11 sparked one of the greatest collective breaths of compassion and camaraderie by Americans in the face of such a tragedy. Yet, many of these Americans who embraced each other in empathy also created a cultural divide against the Muslim world with their fear. I know it sounds a bit lofty, but from my own experience in previous exchanges, now as a student ambassador, I will use compassion, kindness, and empathy in representing our country for those who have never stepped foot within the United States or interacted with an American before. And returning home to the United States when I finally go to college, I hope to accurately retell the story of my host family, friends, and community. Through this, ignorance will be dispelled and connections will be fostered. It is true that we cannot be considered as saints or all-loving people, not all of us, but it is very viable to put compassion into action. Even the smallest act of love is recognized and is sure to spur us on to more compassionate acts. I may not know everything, and I may have mainly been a receiver of compassion until now, but I'm willing and eager to grow and step into this new transitional stage of life and young adulthood. Thank you.
I have been a Unitarian Universalist my whole life. Though I don't remember being dedicated here, I have seen countless children over the years get introduced to this great community and given roses without thorns. As a child in this church, I felt the generosity and compassion of all of the adults around me, something that helped me grow and change as a UU. As an adult, I know that I have that support of the other adults here, but that I'm also independent and capable of taking care of myself. And more importantly, I'm now able to better share that same compassion with those around me, and especially with the younger generation. So compassion, it's something that has been mentioned quite a few times this month, and I would like to briefly explain what my definition of compassion is. Often it's difficult to distinguish sympathy, empathy, and compassion, as they can be quite similar. As far as I can tell, having sympathy for someone is like feeling bad for them, and having empathy for someone is the ability to understand how they're feeling. I tend to be pretty empathetic with people, and I usually view it as a negative quality, because often when I know someone is sad, it just makes me sad, and for a long time I just feel sad. And I not only feel bad for unfortunate people who are much worse off than I, because I can't help but imagine what it feels like to be in their same position. Now, I'm a pretty lucky person. I'm very privileged. And because of how I look, my sexual orientation, gender identity, and my socioeconomic standing, I will never need to face some hardships. Yet I can't help but imagine what it would be like. It's not fun to imagine what it would be like, and I'm sure it certainly isn't fun for those who actually face oppression in their daily lives. But in order to help those who face hardships that I don't have to worry about, I need to be able to be more than empathetic, because I sometimes just feel bad and do nothing to help others who do feel bad. Sympathy is not a great alternative to empathy either, because they're often confused. Being sympathetic can also be unhelpful, because without understanding someone's feelings, it's very difficult to support them in whatever they may be going through. Compassion is something that is sort of a combination of the two with a little bit of something more. Compassion is something shared first and foremost. The prefix co implies a plurality of sorts, necessitating that more than one person takes part. Compassion is like sympathy in that you are concerned for someone's well-being, but it's also a drive to be helpful and supportive as well. So compassion takes work. It's definitely not something you can just magically do. I personally strive to become a more compassionate individual instead of solely empathetic, which is not the easiest thing to do. One of the reasons I chose Reed College as my place of higher education next year was the sense of compassion I felt while on my visit to the campus. I obviously had heard and read about Reed, so I knew generally it was very liberal and sort of just different, both of which sounded appealing to me. They have this thing called the honor principle at Reed, and it's a perfect example of how young people today can learn to practice compassionate behavior. Essentially, the honor principle is a sense of mutual respect that is present in all school functions between students and staff. One student I met described it as sort of a twist on the golden rule. Instead of do unto others as you would have done to you, Reed believes that people should do unto others as they would have done to them. This idea blew my mind. Maybe it's been said before, but I never thought of the golden rule as a flawed idea. I mean, obviously it's good to be nice to people, because most likely I wouldn't want them to be mean to me. But it's a whole nother step to be nice to them because they want me to be nice to them. Taking other people's perspectives into account in one's daily life encourages a compassionate community to exist, one in which people mutually respect and care for one another. I also think I've learned a lot about compassion from my fellow UUs. I mean, nearly every week we are encouraged to let the light within us be a blessing to the world, and one way to be a blessing to the world is to share that compassion that exists within all of us. Through other Unitarian Universalists, I had the great opportunity to experience something that is, to my knowledge, the closest physical representation of a compassion that I can think of: a hug. Now, I know you may be confused because surely I've been hugged by people outside of my faith, and of course I have. And in general, hugs are a great way to celebrate joy, comfort someone in times of stress or grief, or simply a way to greet one another. But at my first senior high camp at Camp de Benneville Pines, I felt true compassion at something called hug worship. So imagine this: little baby freshman or maybe sophomore Grayson, all alone at this camp for the first time, where everyone seemed to know everyone except me. I was terrified, and I was ready for a week of uncomfortable interactions and awkward exchanges. And most of the week was exactly that. But when the end of the week drew near, they had a worship that everyone seemed very excited about. So of course I had to go. Packed into this little building where they had all the worships, we were divided up into 3 groups. One group was to spread out in the room with their arms down, or their arms crossed if they didn't wish to be hugged, and their eyes closed. Another group was to go around and hug the first group. And the third group stood at the front of the room and sang meditation on breathing over and over and over and over. It's a pretty simple song. It just goes, when I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. I was in the hugging group first, and I felt almost silly going around and hugging people I had just met that week. I hugged some people I had talked to more than others, but when I felt too uncomfortable and other people were stopping, I went and stood with everyone who had hugged to their heart's content. I was still confused as to why this worship was so celebrated. I wasn't having fun, I just felt awkward. Then it was my turn to be hugged. As I closed my eyes with my arms at my sides, I was vulnerable. I was opening myself up to human contact without knowing who would give it. And mostly, I was scared. I worried that nobody would hug me, because why would they? They hardly knew me. But still, I waited to get hugged by strangers. And they hugged me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I stopped counting because I was now hugging my friends. With a warm feeling in my chest, I opened my eyes to rotate positions, and as I sang the words of the song, I understood what they meant. We all are lucky enough to have people around us, friends, family, colleagues, and this loving community, and they all can create a peaceful place for us in times of stress or overwhelming emotion. Other people can provide that sense of calm that we all need every once in a while. In turn, we are able to give back love, not only to those closest to us, but to anyone who needs it. Compassion is not only supporting others, not just breathing out love, it is also breathing in and allowing ourselves to feel the love of others. The beauty of compassion is in its plurality, in its dependence on others. And that is why compassion is something that needs to be promoted in communities such as ours. Though it certainly isn't the easiest thing to do, being compassionate with others is one of the most important things necessary to create a better world. Thank you.
Cats fit on the windowsill, children fit in snow. Why do I feel I don't fit in anywhere I go? Rivers belong where they can ramble. Eagles belong where they can fly. I've got to be where my spirit can run free. Gotta find my corner of the sky. Every man has his daydreams, every man has his goal. People like the way dreams have us sticking to the soul. Thunderclouds have their lightning, nightingales have their song. And don't you see, I want my life to be something more than long. Rivers belong where they can ramble. Eagles belong where they can fly. I've got to be where my spirit can run free. Gotta find my corner of the sky. So many men seem destined to settle for something small. But I won't rest until I know I'll have it all. So don't ask where I'm going, just listen when I'm gone. And far away you'll hear me singing softly to the dawn. Rivers belong where they can ramble. Eagles belong where they can fly. I've got to be where my spirit can run free. Gotta find my corner of the sky.
Bridging is the name that's sometimes used to describe the transition between youth and young adulthood for Unitarian Universalist young people. Throughout our lives, we grow and deepen in various ways. It happens gradually, day by day, when we're not looking. Sometimes, though, it takes on a grander and more accelerated form. Today, we recognize one of those precious moments in life. Grayson and Sophia have been steeped in Unitarian Universalist values, as you have no doubt of now, I'm sure. We're glad that we've had them here at Tapestry for years, and they both have great gifts to offer the world beyond these walls, and for better or worse, beyond this state. Today, the blessing that we bestow on them is threefold. Sophia and Grayson, we thank you and your parents for sharing your lives with us for all of these years. We honor the remarkable young people that you are here and now today, and we bless the journey ahead, pledging ourselves and our continued support to you. Wherever life takes you, know that Tapestry or some other Unitarian Universalist community is there to grow with you. Now, for all of you, in your order of service, there is a blue sheet of paper titled Bridging Ceremony. I've gotten to know Grayson and Sophia a little bit in my short time at Tapestry, but really it's you all who have been there for a lot of their lives. So it's our task together as Unitarian Universalists to witness to this moment of their young adulthood. So would you read with me this litany of bridging? Before we finish the reading, Sophia and Grayson will go take their place with other Tapestry young adults who have come here to welcome them into the next phase of life. So would you read with me now? Today we honor you who are stepping beyond and away and toward. Today we share in your journey and encourage your discovery. Today we celebrate your hopes and dreams. Come live, breathe, thrive, and rejoice. Your time is now. Today we applaud you for all you have been, for all you are now, and for all you will be.
Today marks an ending, so that I may begin again, to hope and do and learn and be.
Today you cross this bridge. Go now and explore with wonder. Make choices that make you happy. We will support and nurture you. You are a future. You are amazing.
Today I cross this bridge and join in fellowship. Let me grow, but don't let me go.
We greet you with open arms as you cross this bridge.
And pledge to be there as you venture into a larger world. May you carry with you faith in the power of love to change the world, and the realization that what you do matters greatly. May you love the world and bless it with your lives. So the song Circle Game isn't yet in our hymnals, but it has become this cultural phenomenon at Camp de Benneville Pines. At nearly every camp closing, they sing Circle Game. So to commemorate this bridging and to celebrate our youth, I want to invite you to sing Circle Game together with us. And those de Benneville Pines campers who love this song and maybe want to do the hand gestures with it, young and older alike, come up here and show us your moves. Please. Today the child came out to wander on a dragonfly inside a jar. Fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons round the seasons, captive on a carousel of time. We can return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. Now the boy is 20. The blossom grandeur coming true. There'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams and plenty before the last revolving year is through. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. We extinguish our chalice today, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we're together again.
As you prepare to leave this sacred space, pack away a piece of this church in your heart. Wrap it carefully like a precious gem. Carry it with you through the joys of sorrow and sorrows of your days. Let its gentle glow strengthen you, warm you, remind you of all that is good and true. Until you gather here again and in this place of love, go in peace.